Welcome back. I guess to talk about the last. I mean, kind of a frustrating one last time out, right? I guess
Yeah.
what was it like, kind of getting over that one?
I think you kind of have to go through the stages, right? At first you're pissed off, and then you're sad, and then you're confused and a little salty. I'm trying to think of the stages that I went through. And then I just had to chalk it up to being out of my control, knowing that I'm growing and evolving, and as long as I'm doing that, then I'm on the right path.
Is it difficult to take, because we always talk about, win or learn or whatever, right? But when it's a fight that a lot of people think you won and that you think you won, is it harder to get lessons out of that? Of like, how do I get better? How do I improve? Because like I thought I won.
It is if you're not looking, but you have to look. And that goes along with life, too. There's so many things that happen to us in life where we're like, gosh, I thought I did everything right, but I guess I didn't. And you can easily fall into a place where you are salty about it, or you can, chalk it up to it wasn't meant to be, and look at the things that you can possibly change. And so what I sat back and thought about it, and I know that it's been kind of a hot topic the entire year as far as the judges' decisions on quite a bit of fights. And so for me, what I did was I actually talked to some judges. And I asked them what they were looking for in the fights, because at the end of the day, those decisions are in their hands. And as a fighter, I have an idea of what it is to win, but maybe they have a different idea. And if that's what I have to do, sometimes you got to play the game. And if that's a game, then I'm going to play it. If I want to continue to train, if I want to continue to fight, I can't just complain about it. I just got to play the game.
It's awesome. Did you find them receptive when you reached out? I mean, were they standoffish or were they willing to talk?
Honestly, I was a little bit salty when I was. I was like, y'all, what is your deal, man? I said, have you ever, it's one of those things as a fighter, like, you've never been in it, da-da-da-da-da. And the judge was like, actually, a lot of the judges train, and so just kind of getting the perspective kind of opened my eyes to the things that are important to them versus the things that are important to me. And so I think you just kind of have to pander a little bit to what the judges are looking for.
Yeah, good on you for doing that. I wonder, like, when you have setbacks like that, I mean, I know how committed you are to your family and how long you've been doing this. I mean, does your passion waver for it? Is it ever like, dude, to hell with this? Like, why am I still putting myself through all these sacrifices and doing all this?
I think that in life, our passions waver like that in general. It's like they're like seasons, right? And so I'm not gonna lie when I say that it did take a real toll on me. I put a lot of energy into winning that fight the last time, and to not get the outcome that I wanted. It was quite a letdown, and I was numb for a while. And like you said, it was like, gosh, there's so many other things that I could be doing with my life. Why am I still doing this? Da 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 da. It just kind of came full circle for me, this fight camp, and I was just talking in another interview about the same thing. When I first signed to the UFC, and I was having my debut, I was just excited to come in here and perform and win. I just wanted to show the world what I was capable of, and nothing else mattered. And I think it's like that in life. Like when you fall in love, it doesn't matter what your parents say or whoever thinks that this or that wasn't meant to be, and you don't care because you're in love, right? And but then you let all the noise get to you. You let other people's opinions get to you. And I've just come to a point in my life where I don't want the opinions of others to dictate how I live my life. So I've really just quieted a lot of that down. My camp was really quiet this time around. I stayed away from social media quite a bit, and I just listened to my heart. I listened to my heart, and I would sit down after practices, bloody, sweaty, beat up, and just look around and realize why I do it. It's because I love it. I love the people that I'm around when I do it. I love the rawness of it. I love the challenge of it. And as long as I continue to remind myself that that's why I do it, then I think that I'll continue to pull energy from fighting.
That's awesome. Well said. All right, so you're back. You got a rematch. Did that mean it was kind of a surprise booking? I think. Did this mean something to you to get this opportunity again, or is it just another fight?
I've never had a rematch in my entire MMA career, so it's really exciting for me. This fight with Marina particularly because her and I took that match with like 2 weeks notice. It was the main event. It went 5 rounds. We fought at 125 pounds, so it was kind of just like a whirlwind of, all right, huge opportunity, do it. And I thought I did really well for the amount of time that I had. We went all 5 rounds. I landed some really, really good shots. I just wasn't able to capitalize on those shots. So just seeing that leaves me to know that there's so much opportunity in this fight. This time we're fighting at 115, so she's going to have to come down. We're going to be closer in size. I think that I have the pace. I think that I have the cardio, the creativity, and I'm the more well-rounded fighter. I just have to capitalize on those things that I wasn't able to capitalize the first time around, and I believe that'll give me the victory.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, it's not that long ago people were talking about title shots for her and that sort of thing. I mean, are you thinking about what this does, given where you are with the sport and your career? I mean, are you thinking rankings and what comes next, or is it just like, hey, let's just have a fight and enjoy it?
Like I said, gosh, if a fighter hung so much on like a win or a loss or the rankings or where they're going to be for the title shot, it's very easily to get let down, obviously. I mean, I dealt with it. I've been dealing with it, you know? And so for me, also, it kind of like takes you out of the moment. And when a fighter is performing at their best is when they're in the moment, when they're not thinking about anything, they're not thinking about the future, they're not thinking about the past, they're in the moment and they're able to get in the zone and to perform in the zone. And that's what I'm most excited about, is to get in there and fight, to not think about what the rankings are, about how much I'm going to get paid after the fight, but to actually get in there and think, all right, these are my targets. How am I going to get the targets? How am I going to secure the most damage? How am I going to perform the way I do at the gym right here, right now?
Michelle, thanks for taking the time. You touched on it briefly, but is it good to kind of downshift from a 25-minute fight to like, okay, this is 3 minutes, 3 rounds of time. It's a little better than 15 compared to 25 and all the exposure that goes when you put that poster.
I love 25-minute fights. I mean, the more the merrier. I feel like I'm a warrior in that sense. Like I'm a gladiator in that sense. Like if there were no time limits, I tell people this all the time. Like when I fought Joanna, I felt like if there were no time limits, I would have beat her. You know what I mean? Because I know that I can wear people down. I know that I can keep coming. I know that I can take a beating and keep coming. So time limits for me, I love having more time to work. But with that being said, I think that it is in my advantage if I know that I can go 25. For sure, I can go 3, and then I could push the pace at 3. If I could go 25, I can sprint 3. You know, I don't know if she can.
Excellent. And speaking of your opponent, this rematch, you know, it's a new look, even if it's the same, you know, 2 opponents, but it's still a different weight class. And now her ranking is higher. So this is perfect if you could use that word to get that rematch, that revenge.
Right.
Say, I'm going to take this dub, and I'm also going to take your ranking and pop right into the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely an advantageous fight for me. And very similar to when I fought Paige, a lot of people were asking me if I was upset that there was so much, you know, media and attention on Paige. I was not upset at all. I was there for all of it. I wanted what she had. And how I would get it is to beat her. You know, when I beat her, I take all those chips. You know, that's how I feel with this fight.
Excellent. And last for me, let me circle back to what you and John were talking about with this, like an education for judges. Do you see that beneficial, something that we can do going forward where the fighters talk to the judges and say, what are you looking for? Because I know my job, but what is your job?
Right. I think it would be absolutely beneficial, but not only for the fighters to talk to the judges, but to the judge to talk to the fighters. Like, and then also for the judges to realize how hard it is to hold somebody up against a cage, how hard it is to, or you know, how much a leg kick sucks. You know, like they put so much emphasis on like face shots or whatever, and some people, it's just the way they wear their hair, it looks like a worse shot than it is. By just the way that their footwork is, it looks worse than it is. I remember watching a fight with Aldo one time, and my husband and I were complimenting how well he was rolling with the punches. But if you didn't have that knowledge, you would think he was taking those shots. You know, so I think all of those things need to come into play as a judge when they're watching these things. Yeah, man, it's it's a wild world out there right now, and something definitely needs to be put into place. I know that Invicta does like the round by round, and that makes sense to me. The fighter doesn't necessarily need to know, but it would be nice for the coaches to know, all right, you're up that round. And then, you know, if a coach knows you're up that round and they thought they won, then they're like, all right, well, I guess they don't like wrestling. Maybe we should switch it up to stand-up. Maybe we should make some noise. Maybe we should go to that corner, you know? So, at the end of the day, it is strategy, you know?
Thank you. I appreciate it, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Hey, Michelle. Say you were given the matchmaker hat title next. Is it Yan Xiaonan or Tatiana Suarez?
I think those two ladies should fight for the belt. Or they should fight to see who is the contender for the belt. I think that would be a great matchup.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, guys.